Disney Moana, Wave Rider. Grandma Tala and Moana went for a walk on their favorite Montanui beach. They watched as some of the village children tried to ride the ocean waves. "I wish I could do that," Moana said, before plopping into the sand. "Tell me the story, Grandma, please, the one about you." Grandma Tala smiled and sat down next to Moana before beginning the tale. "When I was young, I was a lot like you. I loved being in the water. I would run to it whenever I could, playing and dancing with the waves." "You still do," said Moana. "Yes, I still do. Now quiet down and listen. My friends, the manta rays, would join me, and I would watch them ride the waves, their bodies gracefully sailing across each crest. Sometimes I would try to do it right along with them. We would glide along the water, and all I could hear and see was the ocean and the sky. One day, while I was out playing with the rays, a big wave tossed me onto the sand like a sea cucumber. It was only when I heard laughter that I realized I was not alone. All my friends were there, watching me. But the only one who didn't laugh was Asolele, the wood carver. I didn't want to be laughed at, but oh, how I wanted to ride those waves. So whatever I could, I'd sneak out of the water and try again, and again. Then I'd wipe out and get right back to it. "I would be like that too, Grandma," said Moana. "I know you would. You're very determined. But back to the story. Then one evening, something happened that changed everything. A bird appeared in the distance. It looked like it was standing on the water. As it came closer, I could see it was on a piece of driftwood. I admired the beautiful bird as it rode the wave, perfectly poised. It sped by me, the wind ruffling its feathers. I took one last look and I knew I had to do that. The next morning, I started searching for something to write on. I tried everything I could find. Big pieces of bark, banana leaves, paddles. But most of the time, I would just fall right off. And even when I was able to stay on, everything quickly bent, broke, or sunk. I kept on for days. I was determined to feel like that bird. Then one night, as I watched Asolele carving by the fire, I had an idea. I would make a board. I drew a design in the sand, and Asolele agreed to help me. He patiently showed me how to carve, sand, and polish the wood. It took a lot of hard work, but soon my board was ready. It was beautiful, and I couldn't wait to try it. So early one morning, I took it to the ocean. I paddled out as far as I dared. Then I floated, waiting for the right wave. I knew I had to be patient. When a good wave came, I went for it. Did I ride it to shore? Of course not. The people who were watching me were probably saying, "Crazy, crazy Tala, give it up already." But when I saw the rays, I knew I couldn't give up on something that I felt so strongly about in my heart. When my wave approached, I was ready. Slowly, I stood up, poised and balanced, and the wave carried me across the water with the wind in my feathers, just like that bird. "You don't have feathers, Grandma," Moana giggled. "I did that day, Moana. Oh, I had wings." My friends cheered on the shore, and the loudest of them all was Asolele, your grandfather. Moana clapped her hands. I love that story. Grandma Tala smiled. "Are you ready to give it a try?" Moana paddled into the ocean next to Grandma Tala. She was determined to keep trying no matter how many times she was wiped out. It wasn't long before the day came when Grandma Tala and Moana flew across the water like birds of a feather, together.